Hello Pouring Nation, today we're going to review the Color Pour pouring medium. Now I will tell you up front, I'm not a big fan of this pouring medium. There's a couple of reasons which we'll get to in this video. I did review this pouring medium with 11 other pouring mediums which I will link in the description below and up top so you can get a sense of how it compared to those other pouring mediums. So Color Pour pouring medium is the Joann Fabrics pouring medium. They do have Color Pour pre-mixed colors that already have colors here. This is just the pouring medium, and I'm mixing it with some of my own colors here. So when I did this test, I tested 4 things: how it mixed, the colors that I got, how it dried, and the cost. So this is the pouring medium all by itself. I did a swatch of it all by itself. As you can see there, it is actually really clear. It's a little bit thinner than some of the other pouring mediums. It's pretty strong, so in that regard, it actually is really nice. It's slightly off-white, but that's not a big issue with this pouring medium. I did do, in that test, I did a pour with the Color Art pouring medium, and here is that pour. Just to show you, it has a semi-gloss luster to it. The colors actually turned out really well on my tree ring pour. It didn't interact very good with the silicone, and the darker colors took over. So I'm going to do another pour today just to kind of show you how that works, and we're going to mix some paint to also show you how the mixing went. But in the end, this pouring medium actually did really well. It has really vibrant colors. I liked how it looked. So really quickly, this pouring medium only comes in the 8-ounce container right now. It's about $1 per ounce, so $7.99 for an 8 fluid ounce. Granted, this is at Joann, so you can usually get a discount, 20 to 40% normally, and sometimes 50 or 60% off, and I definitely recommend doing that. The cost is one of the most expensive of the pouring mediums that I looked at $1 per ounce. So today we're going to mix a couple of colors. We're going to do just a straight dirty pour. So I have the Simply Acrylic Dark Blue. I have the Deco Art Americana Primary Magenta. I have white, which is a mix of the Artist Loft Flow and the Liquitex Basics. And then I'm going to show you mixing the Dioxazine Purple from Liquitex Basics. So one odd thing, you can see right here, this pouring medium is very liquidy. But one of the odd things that I had specifically with this purple, which is why I chose it again, is when you're mixing it, it tends to break up like that. See how it makes the little items? It requires a whole ton of mixing for any medium body, even some heavier soft body paints. It takes a ton to make this work. So we're just going to fast forward through this because it's going to take a minute. So that's mixed almost where I want it to be. The odd thing about this pouring medium is when you mix it with certain paints, the texture or the consistency is much different than other paints. If you notice here, the blue, this consistency has changed in the last few minutes, first of all, which I don't like at all. But the consistency of this purple is a lot different. So I think it's just certain types of pigments cause that to happen. This needs a slight bit more water, just to get the same consistency. Now I mixed these up about half an hour ago, the other paints, maybe a little bit less. So they've been sitting for a slight bit, and they changed quite a bit while they were sitting. They thickened up quite a bit while they were sitting, which doesn't happen with a lot of pouring mediums, so I'm actually not too thrilled about that. So again, it just takes a long time to mix. Not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're a new acrylic pouring artist, I would not recommend using this pouring medium. So better, what I'm looking for is just making a tiny bit of a mound and then going away. So this doesn't mound very well. I mean, it goes from being gloopy to being almost liquidy in a few drops of water. So you have to be very careful when you're mixing this up. So today we're just going to test with a, like I say, with a dirty pour. So this is an 8x10 canvas. That's 80 square inches plus the sides makes it 96 square inches total. So if you divide that by 4, that's an easy way to check how much paint you need for a canvas. So this is 96 square inches, divide that by 25, it needs about 4 ounces of paint. This is a 9-ounce cup, these are 3-ounce cups, so I'm going to have a little bit more than I need. The dioxazine purple is opaque, so I don't want to have too much of it because it will overtake the rest. As you saw in that, in this painting here, the purple kind of overtook everything, so I don't want to use too much of that. Okay, and we're just going to do a flip cup. Let that sit for a second. Normally with a flip cup, I want my cup to be exactly the amount of paint I need so they don't have this air, because as the paint moves it mixes more. So if I would have put it in and done it to the top of a cup and then flipped the cup, the paint really wouldn't have moved except for in itself, like the heavier white would have moved down through the other paints. But in this case I didn't have a 4 or 5 ounce cup, so I had to use my 9-ounce cup. Give me the corners here really quick. And again, this paint, I could have thinned it out quite a bit, but then it becomes really watery really quickly, and I don't like that at all. Now I did not add any oil or anything to this, so all these bubbles are popping up naturally. And most of them are just coming from air bubbles, just because I mixed quickly and I didn't let the paint sit to allow those air bubbles to come out. Now because this is a little thicker than normal, I'm going to push out the paint to the sides. This just lets the paint flow a little bit easier, so I don't get the paint all bunching up right here and coming off. It kind of comes off in waves. And even after putting it on the canvas, this pouring medium has really thickened up. And a very short working time for pouring medium is a very bad thing for acrylic paint pouring. Again, this is why I don't like this for a normal I mean, look at this. It's not even moving like it was before originally. So I'm just going to actually leave it right there. In my testing that I did, again, I tested mix, quality, mix, dry, color quality, and cost. For mix, this got a 2 out of 5. Drying, it got a 4 out of 5, because again, I have seen good drying colors. The colors got a 5 out of 5, and cost was 1 out of 5 because it was so expensive. So it ultimately was a 3 out of 5, where the better pouring mediums were in the 4 and 3.8 out of 5. One thing that I would use this pouring medium for is for something like a ring pour, just because those colors are so fantastic there. There's a good place for a ring pour. I would not use it for a dirty pour like this is. I would not use it for a dirty pour, obviously, like this is. If it's too wet, the colors just mix all together, so I tried to have it be a little bit thicker than normal, but I still got a pour, if that makes sense, for this. If this is the type of content you like, please subscribe, like the video, and next week we'll have another one for the next pouring medium on this list.